From recruiting and consulting firm Riderflex, I'm your host, Steve Urban, and here is your Riderflex podcast episode of the day. On today's episode of the Riderflex podcast, I'm expressing my honest opinion that I think virtual happy hour sucks. I know during COVID, we're all trying to figure out ways to stay in contact and be somewhat sociable, and I admire everyone's efforts to keep the coffee meetings and happy hours going to drive business and relationships. I also realize that depending on where you live, there are different rules and different locations and establishments still locked down. This COVID stuff has everybody affected differently depending on where you live. But the bottom line is many of us have tried to do a lot more meetings over Zoom than we normally would. And in many cases, we're trying to be sociable over Zoom with some type of happy hour. And by the way, I know there's lots of companies, software companies and tech companies trying to develop even more platforms and programs to help us all do that. And I admire all of that and I respect it. But the bottom line is, I think virtual happy hour sucks. And here's why. 7 reasons. Number 1, I miss getting out of the house. Since I work from home, like many of you are doing right now, I'm already home all day. It would be nice to get out of the house for a bit and see people in person, be in a different atmosphere. The sounds, the smells, the visual stimulation, the experience of the location itself, etc. Number 2, I miss the observation. I can't observe the rest of the people in the establishment, the workers, the customers. I can't observe them. I can't watch them. I can't talk about them. I can't interact with them. And I miss that because I'm a people person. Number 3, I miss the food and the drinks. I only have so much cool food and drinks in the house, right? I miss being able to try something new and see what's on the menu. Happy hour here at the house means I'm having the same old bourbon I usually have, or the same food I usually have. I miss seeing what's on the menu at my favorite location and trying something different. Number 4, I miss the sidebar conversations and the one-on-ones. With virtual happy hour, at least with most platforms, one person does the talking while the group is listening. I can't pull somebody aside and have a personal chat. I can't have a private verbal conversation and truly engage with their body language and their facial expressions, etc. Number 5, only certain people speak up during these virtual happy hours. Not everyone wants to make a group speech every time they say something. Not everybody is comfortable with this, so they just sit there. They let other people do the talking. You can't move anybody off to the side for a one-on-one chat most of the time, not with most of the platforms. And even when you do, then like people are like disappearing from the screen and coming back, etc. It's just weird. Trying to do that virtually is very difficult. Number 6, everybody's pretending. We're all pretending like we like the virtual happy hour, aren't we? I mean, because we want to be engaged, we miss talking to each other. So we're trying to figure out something. So we're trying to get together virtually, but we all know it sucks, don't we? Oh, we all let other people do the talking during the meeting, but we don't really pay attention because we minimize Zoom and then we're like looking at Facebook or checking email. I mean, you can see that in everybody's eyes, right? You can see their eyes like moving across the screen. They're just checking other stuff. They're not even really paying attention. And finally, number 7, and I'm being sarcastic with number 7, but I got to bring it up. The dogs and the kids, right? Like you wouldn't bring your dogs and your kids to a regular happy hour, would you? At least not most of the time. And I don't really want to see your dogs and kids at happy hour, not at a real happy hour and not a virtual happy hour. I know everybody thinks their dog and their kid is the cutest in the world and like everybody else wants to see them. No, we don't. So don't bring them to virtual happy hour. And there are my 7 reasons why I think virtual happy hour sucks. And I'm really looking forward to getting together in person soon. If you think today's tip or guest interview can help someone you know, please share this with them. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviewing. You can visit riderflex.com to learn more about us and get information and pricing on the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day.